Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is George Chuck Patterson. I got my homie and co-host Mac Epps in the building. We'll also be joined by our homie and our consistent man in the comments, Sabir Abdul Haq. And we've got a guest tonight, Ty Pinkins from the Delta to DC. On a mission to serve Mississippi. Talking with Ty Pinkins, man, on the campaign trail, man, about Mississippi doing his thing. We'll learn more about him tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it ready. Mr. Max got his mental health minute. I got the groove. Tonight, it is Nightcap Knowledge.
Hey.
There you go. There you go. Fade it out. Fade it out. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Y'all can't hear me?
What is the deal, Pickle?
Oh,
man. I'm listening. I'm like, what did Chuck do? Is it this? I'm saying, he brought the woofers out? Man, this thing is banging in my ear. I was like, the music is on a whole nother level.
That thing was thanging. That thing was
thanging. So, yeah. Is it? I mean, you the one that said somebody was banging in your ear.
The music. I said the music was banging in my ear. The music.
Then your frat brother come behind you and say,
"Oh, there you go. There you go.
There you go." Thanging. Hey, that sound was thanging, bro. It was thanging. Definitely.
Have mercy, Lord.
I was impressed.
Have mercy.
Chuck, hands up, Too Blue. Hands up.
Hey, man, look. Matt, go ahead and give the disclaimer. We're gonna jump right into it. I will make sure I nudge our guest for the evening, and then we're gonna see if we can have us a good time tonight, man.
Yeah, man. We got a little work to do right quick. Remind everybody this show is rated Black and Uncensored, real talk, real issues, and real solutions. We're gonna tell it like a TI is. Hey, this might not be the show for you. Hey, you might want to find something else to do. But we're gonna be on this thing. We're gonna make it happen, Captain. And Chuck, I want to, while we in the mental health minute, start now. Perseverance, telling folks not to give up. And do you have the graphics that I sent you?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get them loaded now. So just you keep talking, I'll highlight you, and then we'll throw them up on the screen when appropriate.
Okay, so perseverance, just telling people not to give up. There are a lot of times as people make comments on social media and in real life about how hard things are right now, from the economy to different things in life, society, crime, so much is happening. in health, right? And we just encourage folks not to give up, continue to fight, have that fighting spirit, believe in yourself, believe in your deity, continue to push forward. If you are a fan of football, keep your legs moving, keep your feet moving. If you're a fan of boxing, keep bobbing and weaving. Don't never keep swinging. I mean, always keep swinging, never give up, never drop your hands. So whatever you're a fan of, find that positive energy in it and never give up. Keep fighting until there is no more to fight. So we want to make sure we always highlight our fighters and those folks we know and knew. And we got to talk about our fighter, and that's our brother, Beta Roll Made, Kobe Quinn. Good brother, good brother. He has won his fight, and he is going to a better place to continue to watch over all his family and friends. And like I said, he's a good brother. And if you was at Tougaloo in our era before, you come across Kobe, and Kobe was a whole character and a half. So to start off, we're gonna pull up one good one, pull up a little something for little Kobe with the Tougaloo glass, baby.
There you go. I got some water tonight, buddy.
You got water? Oh man.
Yeah, sucks, man. It's a lot going on.
Hey,
I ain't got nothing close by to drink. I'm sorry, except for water. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll say this to the life.
I mean, everybody can't be able to have Shayla Portier. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Shayla Portier. Man, definitely want to send our hugs and our thoughts and the good vibes and all the grooves that they can throw in honor of our brother Kobe. Man, I remember when getting to Kobe welcomed us with much enthusiasm. So we definitely want to give that same enthusiasm right now for somebody that was a true Tougalooan. So rest in power to our brother Kobe Quinn.
Yeah, he the one.
Oh Lord, don't you tell? Hey, don't you? All right, go ahead. Tell the stories.
He the one to let us know about that. It's a road back there in the woods, right?
It is definitely. He was definitely that person that told us about the road in the back of the woods. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna leave that alone. All right.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna leave that alone. So look, the groove is this. We are it's always election season, right?
Yeah.
We know that. A lot of people don't know that. But we want you. That's the only groove that we got right now is election season. We're making sure that folks are prepared, making sure that they have the information, making sure that they have access to great organizations and great people that can get them to where they need to be when they need to be there. So before we jump into our conversation with our guest for tonight, we definitely want to give a disclaimer, like we are not endorsing anybody, but we're having great conversations with great people that are all about making Mississippi the best place that it can be. And I would be remiss if I didn't say it's truly about moving Mississippi forward. That's what this entire effort is dedicated to. So we say this. We want you to make sure that you have your plan for election day. We want to make sure that you have the ability to get to your polling place. And if you need the opportunity to volunteer, we want to make sure that you can volunteer with us at msmove.org. All you got to do is click volunteer to sign up. You got all of those things. We can definitely get you hooked up. We've got a lot of folks already hooked up.
Yep.
Right? Got a lot of folks hooked up. They are excited. They are motivated. And maybe later on in the show, Sabir, we might throw up that graphic so visually we can see all of the places that Mississippi Move is actually moving people around the state. So with that being said, Sabir, you want to give us a quick disclaimer to make sure that we are in compliance and all of that?
So definitely greetings everyone. Yes, indeed. We're definitely glad to be making things happen and super excited about where things are. I am definitely it's been great working with the volunteers around the state as far up as Starkville. Shout out to Sister Yolanda Haddix and Frat, a lot of Frat that I met up that way in Starkville, and a lot of the folks in Laurel. We got folks in Natchez. We got folks in all up in the Pine Belt, man. Shout out to our good folks down in Hattiesburg, Andrea Walker and Chuck. You remember Peg Serrato?
Yeah.
Working with her and a lot of other folks in the area. And then shout out to Brother Hollins, Mac. Mac touch base with him. We got some folks on the coast that are doing great work
Pastor
too.
Hollins.
Pastor Hollins, yes, indeed. So we're super excited to have all the different folks that have come in. We've got a number of folks that have already, they've been seeing our volunteers across the group me. Again, as Chuck said, please, if you're interested in signing up to be a member, if you're signing up to want to help with the process, want to help out with putting out yard signs, want to help with any part of this process, want to help on election day to assist us with, if you want to stand on the side of a street corner, just reminding people, look, come get us out. We would love to have your energy. We would love to have you on as a part of this energy and a part of this movement. A lot of folks, we've had folks call us from all over the state. But yes, exactly as Chuck said, please, we would, if you're interested in being a driver, please go to the website. We'll go ahead and vet you. We've got contacts in DPS that we will do a validation and check of your driver's license because we want people to be safe. We've had folks that have contacted Mac, our good friend up in Holmes County who hits us up every year. She just contacted this morning to go ahead and get a ride to the poll. We've had several folks in Metro Jackson. We've had several folks.
It ain't Uber, but it's Moober.
It ain't real talk. And the good thing is, man, like just about everybody that has contacted us right now, I don't think, I'm looking over the list like right now, I don't think most of the folks right now are repeat bookers. We've done this. We've been doing this for the past. It's about, I'd say about like better than 80% of the folks with us, they're repeat bookers.
Somebody would say them good numbers. That's what I hear.
Those are great numbers. Those are great numbers. And then definitely the more that we start getting things going and everything else, and usually things pick up right on like a Saturday. It's gonna get real. Like Saturday, it's gonna turn up. People are gonna really start seeing it. And then thank you to the local media. We've had a lot of local media, not just in Jackson. Gulf folks on Gulfport have pushed us out on quick little blurbs. Everything else, folks in Hattiesburg have pushed us out on quick little blurbs. Folks in what's WTOK? I forgot what WTOK is. I feel like that's Columbus area or the Golden Triangle area, I believe. What's going on? Yes, indeed. There go Dr. J. Yes, indeed.
ASU TV in the house. Okay.
Yes, indeed. All right. So look, we appreciate everybody for tuning in and getting in. A lot of our volunteers, I was letting them know, look, roll to the polls. We're gonna be talking about roll to the polls on the show. So thank you, Dr. J, for jumping on, and other folks that are going to be kicking in later.
Most definitely, man. We appreciate that update, Sabir. Look, we will now do our introduction for our guests. Tonight on Nightcap Knowledge, we are excited to welcome Ty Pinkins, a passionate advocate for the people of Mississippi and also a candidate for U.S. Senate. Born and raised in the Mississippi Delta, Ty has experienced firsthand challenges by working hard for the families in our state. With a rich background that includes military service, legal advocacy, and community organizing, he has dedicated his life to fighting for justice and equity. Ty believes in the power of giving back and is committed to making a real difference in the lives of Mississippians. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats, chicken, dogs, and frogs, y'all give it up for Ty Pinkins.
Happy to be here. How you doing, Chuck? What's going on, Mr. Matt? Man. Sabir, how y'all doing, my man?
Doing all right, brother.
We doing good, man. We doing good. Hey, man. So jump right into it. You from the Delta area. You gotta let folks know where you're from. What's your hometown?
Look, I love this state, but it's something about the Delta, man. I love the dirt in the Delta. It's deep. It's deep. My hometown is Rolling Fork over in Sharkey County, just above Vicksburg, the bottom of the Delta.
Yes, sir. We spent a lot of time up there helping after the tornado hit Anguilla. Yeah. That's how we got a chance to meet the folks in Rolling Fork. And we started to move the folks from Anguilla that we were helping to Rolling Fork. Then Rolling Fork got hit. And,
exactly.
We've been knee deep in Rolling Fork helping out. So we definitely appreciate it. And shout out to Mr. Boyer Williams, Legacy Village.
Yes.
He's absolutely awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So look, Ty, can you do like I know I did a short introduction of you. And we see a lot of things behind you. So give us some quick introductory words and background about, who you are and how you kind of arrived at this moment where you are you're seeking office. So give us that quick intro, and then we'll dig into some questions.
Well, we just said I'm a proud son of the Mississippi Delta, born and raised in Rolling Fork to a 15-year-old mother who dropped out of school in the 10th grade, never went back, to a 6th grade educated stepfather who never learned how to read. But somehow I became the first person in my family to graduate high school, attend Tougaloo College before joining the military, served 21 years on active duty, 3 combat tours over 36 months at war, was awarded the Bronze Star for my first tour in Iraq. My military career culminated by working in the White House for 2 presidents, Republican and Democratic presidents, and then left the White House after retiring from the military, walked across town in Washington, D.C., and enrolled at the Georgetown University Law Center. It was literally a couple of blocks from the White House.
Yeah.
And enrolled at Georgetown and then earned my JD, my law degree, as well as my LLM, my master's in national security law, and then turned it right back around and came right back home to Mississippi. And for the last few years, I've been working in some of Mississippi's most underserved communities as a nonprofit public interest lawyer, helping single mothers facing eviction in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the pandemic at the same time, representing low-income workers who have been cheated out of their pay by big businesses and suing those businesses and winning for our farm workers in the Mississippi Delta. Now I'm running to be Mississippi's next United States Senator. Been doing that for 22 months now. We got 7 days left to go before the big night, Tuesday.
7 days.
7 days, my man. 7 days.
Keep pushing, man. Keep pushing. Shout out to our friend and frat brother, Robert Moman. He's got a brand called Keep Pushing and See It Through.
I also forgot to mention I'm a proud member of the oldest and the coldest
there you go.
The man, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. You see it right over my shoulder. I'm sorry.
I see. Look, I was trying to throw it up for you. Get you with the law, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, man, I've seen some photos of you. You're a runner. Like, yeah. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did you get into running? I know you got to, do PT in the military, but you're a pretty long distance runner.
Well, you know what? I ran track and cross country in high school, but I hated it. I hated it with a passion. But I enjoyed going on trips to other schools and running, but I couldn't stand running. Then I joined the military, and you're right, we have to do PT, we have to run. I hated it then too, to be honest with you. I couldn't stand it, but I was good at it. I just didn't like it. But in the middle of my second tour in Iraq, we were stationed on this base called Camp Liberty, and it was about the border. You could get 10 miles just running around the border of the base. In order to keep myself right mentally, I started running, and I started to love it. And so from that point on, that was at about the 13-year mark of my 21-year career. And I finished those 21 years, and I got out, and I realized that I still enjoyed running so much. So in the middle of this campaign, I decided to do an advocacy run for women's reproductive freedoms, a stronger economy here in Mississippi, and a stronger healthcare system for our kids. And that run consisted of me starting in DeSoto County in South Haven in April and running all the way to the Gulf Coast, which I think that was about 600 miles. And then I think September we got to Biloxi and went over the Moss Point. And now we're headed back to Rolling Fork. We're at about 880 miles now. We got about 100 miles to go before we hit Rolling Fork on November the 4th, the day before Election Day. And when we hit Rolling Fork, we will be right at 1,000 miles on this advocacy run.
Nice.
So that's amazing there. don't know if y'all have ever watched Forrest Gump. Y'all remember Forrest Gump's coach? He said that's a running fool right there. Right? I ain't calling you no fool type, but boy, you running. Hey, look, that's a lot of miles. I get tired of driving it.
It is, but for me, it's about highlighting some of the issues that people are going through, not only in this country, but in the state of Mississippi. We're last in infant mortality with regard to women's health care. We're last in maternal mortality. We're last in diabetes, considered the unhealthiest state in this country. So I've been running across our state, and when people ask me what I'm doing, or they see the videos that I post on social media, they ask me what I'm doing. I tell them this is why I'm running. I'm running to highlight these issues for Mississippians and to also tell voters and everyday Mississippians I'm running to represent you. And the same energy that I'm putting on these highways, Highway 61, Highway 20, Interstate 20, I-55, that same energy is the energy that I'll take to Washington, D.C. to represent the good people of the great state of Mississippi.
Look, I got one more question, and it's in line with the things that you're highlighting.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts around, you said reproductive rights, right?
Right.
What are your thoughts around the decisions that are being made on behalf of women in terms of making decisions around men making decisions around like reproductive rights for women?
Mm-hmm. Look, that is a very, very personal issue to me. Women's reproductive rights, women's reproductive freedoms. And when I started this campaign 22 months ago, January 3rd, 2023, I led with that issue. One, because people around this state, I've been to all 82 counties. People around this state have asked me a question. What do I think as a candidate is the most important issue on the ballot this year? And I tell people, it's 100 people in this room, depending on what county I'm in. There could be 100 different people with 100 different issues that are at the top of their priorities. Right. But I say for me, I listen to people and they tell me it may be the economy. I don't disagree. It may be healthcare in general. I don't disagree, or education. I don't disagree. But personally, I think the biggest issue on the ballot this year is equality, whether or not women are equal to men. And that goes right to women's reproductive freedoms. And when I say this, people laugh sometimes. I say there are 3 facts. 1, as a man, I can't get pregnant. 2, it's biologically impossible. Can't happen. Right. 2, I can't carry a child in my body for 9 months, so I can't give birth either. Therefore, 3, as a man, I'm not qualified to tell a woman what to do with her body. Right. That's a decision between qualification. That's a decision between that woman, that doctor, and her God. That is it. And I tell people all the time, they ask me, well, are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? I said, before I'm either one of those things, I'm pro-woman. I'm pro-life woman, making her pro-life self, and I'm pro-choice woman, making her pro-choice decision for her pro-choice self. You know? And I don't think it's that complicated. Just mind your own business. Leave people alone.
Yeah.
Hey man, you sound like you got home training.
I do. I had some great aunties and some great older female cousins that made sure I understood that, look, you better take care of your women and respect them and make sure that they have access to the resources they need to take care of their body, because people don't realize what women go through. A pregnancy, when a woman gets pregnant, that's a major medical event that lasts 9 whole months, a major medical event. And when they give birth, specifically a Black woman, there's a likelihood, a chance that she is going to die.
Yes.
Especially in the state of Mississippi. So you're telling me, and this is my conversation that I had with some of these people that say that they should be able to tell someone else what to do with their body. So you're telling me, if a woman gets pregnant as a result of rape or incest, and during that pregnancy, at some point, there's a decision to be made because her life or the baby's life is at risk. Right. You're telling me that the best person to make that decision is not that woman with the baby in her body. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
And then people, the biggest arguments that some people go to, it's God and it's religion and this, and God don't need my help.
Right.
He does not need my help. Not at all. That's between her her God and her doctor, and that is it.
That's it. And I think, and Brother Ty used to work with a certain nonprofit organization, and one of their major facets was always talking about reproductive freedom. And it really, even before working with that organization, really being involved with them, it was great to be able to learn a lot of the strongest forms of discussion that was happening, the strongest forms of stances that were happening. And that has become such a polarizing issue, no matter who the candidate, no matter whether it's, here in Mississippi or nationally. It's been something that has really been almost like it's a weather vane issue for a lot of folks. It's been a bellwether issue for a lot of folks, and it's good to hear people say different things. So yeah.
But one of the things that I think is missing in Washington D.C. is we have an acronym as Army officers that we learn and we serve by. Okay. It's called leadership without the E and the A. So take the E and the A out. LDRSHIP. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. I think that acronym represents what's missing in Washington, D.C. today, specifically courage, because we have leaders, we have politicians who want to serve in these positions and want to get paid six figures from taxpayers, but they're afraid to show up in front of those same taxpayers, those same voters, and tell voters where they stand on an issue. We have politicians that'll go over to Jackson Street and tell somebody that they're pro-life, and then they'll go over on 3rd Street and tell them that they're pro-choice, and then they'll go over there in South Jackson and tell somebody, or West Jackson and tell somebody, well, I'm neither. And I think that's what voters are tired of. They just want to know, where do you stand on this particular issue, so that I, as a voter, can make an informed decision on whether or not I'm going to give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And we have too many leaders that can't stand in front of a group of voters and take a potential thumbs down.
Thumbs down, right. Yeah. And that's something that, that we always are always pushing through. It's definitely, if you want to be able to accept the fact that as a Southerner, it's often said that one of the most intimate non-medical things any Southerner can do is vote. That's just super powerful, and just it's what you're saying right there in terms of the way our people are flip-flopping and different things. That's madness.
Well, I think Mississippi, we have a unique opportunity this year that a lot of people don't pay attention to. A lot of people outside of our state don't appreciate is our demographics here in this state. I'll tell people, Mississippi should be a battleground state. It should be. And here's my argument for that. A few years ago in Georgia, they elected 2 Democrats to the United States Senate. They had the nerve to elect the black guy twice in a 3-year time span, when Georgia's only about 28% African American. Mississippi is 40% black. 40% black. So it makes no sense to me why we are not a battleground state. I understand why, because we don't get invested in adequately from the federal level. And we don't have a strong base built here, but we should be a battleground state. And this year specifically is an opportunity for our state to do something extremely special, because all the issues on our side and the demographics are on our side.
Yeah. So Ty, I know you've got some other things to get to. And I saw your message. I wanted to ask you one thing, and we've been working on this campaign. We've got through our company, Black with No Chaser. We've got folks all over the country. Right now, we have brothers in North Carolina right now, and they're headed to DC and then to Philly. And you mentioned battleground states. One of the things that we've been seeking out black men to ask them the question, that question is, what do you think drives the myth that black men aren't showing up at the polls? Where is that coming from? Because it's all through the news cycle and all of that.
I think it's grounded in something that's not new. It's grounded in something that's been taking place since 1619, when they brought us over here, when we had black people in chains, but they were from different tribes. And you had a certain group of people that always tried to divide those people. And specifically with black men right now, some people going out and saying that black men are not going to support this black woman that's running for president of the United States. I think they're just simply trying to keep black men divided, or make it appear that black men are divided. The ones I talk to all find that funny that they're somehow not going to go and vote for this lady when she's talking about all our issues. There are a few. I ran into a couple, and that's just being honest. But I don't think we're as divided as people make us out to be.
I appreciate that. Sabir, like you had something to jump in on.
I'm listening. I'm just listening. There's a lot of one thing, and it's interesting. One thing I will say, like in terms of battleground, in terms of keeping it, right in the middle of the road, as they say. In terms of, there are so many folks right now that are finding different content and nuanced content on different platforms. Black with No Chaser. There's so many other independent media on your YouTubes and everything else, and people are catching up and coming up with different ideas. I've actually started picking up one called Jubilee. It's an organization. It's one spot called Jubilee. They do great work that talks about how people are coming up and debating regularly. So those are just, I've been getting my family involved on Jubilee and some of their stuff. They do great content. But you find a lot of people that speak from the heart from their different things. So why not have Mississippi a battleground state? Not something that's always a gimme to one party, or given to one party, or any other different things. Keep it. And then we also, what we've been seeing with some of the coalitions and other organizations we've been working with, folks is ready to hit the ground running all the times and really get going. Some of the initiatives we work on, they're like, look, we don't care about your party. We don't care you voting for. You come on, get on out here. We want to make sure that you bring your souls to the polls. That's it.
Absolutely. Mississippi being a battleground state is right around the corner. Yep. And it's going to shock some people. It is coming. Yep. One, because people have so much access to information now. That includes the Black community. That includes rural communities like Sharkey County, where I live. They have so much access to information. And young people, they are waking up. Here's a statistical fact for you guys. From 2008 to 2012, young people registered and voted at record numbers. From 2012 to 2016, they broke the record that they set in 2012. From 2016 to 2020, you know what I'm about to say? They broke the record that they set in 2016.
Right.
From 2020 to now, young people have registered at record numbers. And they call me in my campaign office and demand to speak to me. 19-year-old kid called me last week, demanded, I want to speak to Ty. And my staff was like, what do you want? So we want to speak to him. He said, I call you. I'm not calling you to volunteer. I'm calling to tell you that I am 19 years old. This is my first time voted, and I just registered to vote for you. To
That's
vote.
All right.
This is what young people are doing, and they are so engaged right now.
Not only engaged, they got passion too. They're so passionate. Yeah.
But this election cycle is going to affect them so much. Yeah. It's going. You heard about the brain drain that happens in our state, where we have our young people. They've done everything that they're supposed to do in high school. Then they go to college, whether that be Jackson State, Alcorn, Tougaloo, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Mississippi Valley, whatever university they go to, they graduate, and then they're faced with a dilemma. They have to decide whether they can stay at home in the state that they love, in the community that they love, or do I have to leave this state to find a job that pays me enough, healthcare that's secure enough to raise my own family? Yeah. So they're faced with that issue, and I think that's going to turn out in the polls also.
Yeah.
Agree.
Ty, I know you got top 3 priorities. What's your top 3 priorities if you're elected?
My top 3 priorities are the issues that are most affecting Mississippians. We know we're last in job creation and economic development. It's been that way for a long, long time, particularly when it comes to intentionally underinvesting in Jackson, Mississippi, and Hinds County. We know it's intentional, but
I want to get the horn again, but go ahead.
So my top 3 issues, and I'll tell you, I'll start from lowest to highest. Making sure that our children get a quality education so that they can compete in this global economy, because our world is getting smaller. 2, healthcare in general. And then 3, which is not the top one, is job creation and economic development. But my main issue is women's reproductive freedoms. Making sure that we codify Roe v. Wade, because that's an economic thing, that's a healthcare thing, and that's an education thing.
Yeah.
Look, brother, we appreciate you. We wish you the best of luck. Stay hydrated. Make sure you stretch before you run. And
Man, I feel like I'm back in basic. Listen to a drill sergeant tell me to get hydrated and stretch.
Real talk.
hey,
That's what's
look,
up, though. That's what's
Team
up.
Tougaloo is proud of you, man. And you make sure you run, keep pushing, see it through, man.
Will do. Y'all have a good night.
Yes,
all
sir.
right, you too.
Bye-bye.
It's all right.
Hey, what y'all think, man?
That's all right, man. That's all right. That's all right. I think
I mean,
you
other
got
than
a lot of folks that are doing amazing work. What happened? Uh-oh.
I say other than him being an alpha, you know. Shout out to Preston and Tony. Shout out to Preston and Tony.
Shout out to Preston and Tony and Jam, the rest of them cats, man. Shout out. I knew that was coming. I think that a lot of folks have run a platform that nationally kind of trickles down, and it trickles down to different things, and so each party, sometimes things may be seen in silos. Some people may be operating in silos. Some people may seem like they got like one message all together. Whatever they do, it seems like he's got a message that he wants to convey to folks, and hopefully they're able to go ahead and he's able to get things going and do things for what works for them. I think the main thing is our thing is always making sure that people vote in mass. We want folks to get out there. Y'all know I looked up, I found out, and I'm gonna have to go find that doggone statistic. The Guardian newspaper said in the 2019 election, it was almost 80% of non-incarcerated, and that didn't incarcerate, they didn't count people who hadn't passed away, had voted in the 2019 election. So it was a statewide election. So it was talking about and this was when Hurricane Zeta had gone through. Even the Pearl River County Circuit Clerk House, they had some things they had to dig themselves out of, but they had a good number of folks that voted too. So I mean, it just shows just how serious people have been. And we hate that it's become kind of polarized, but also with that polarization also speaks to the amount of people that are engaged and active in terms of making this happen, and that's cool.
Yeah, man. You're right about the polarization. I don't think that the polarization is something that we created. I think it is something that, and I'm saying the communities in which we live.
Yeah.
I think it is something that we've not strategized the best we possibly could have against this quote unquote polarization. I think the polarization is honestly the visible evidence of the way that things have always been.
Yeah.
And because they've been this way for so long, that doesn't mean that we continue to do what we've been doing. I think we get back to what we used to do. And the thing that we used to do is when we organized, when we mobilized, when we strategized, when we knew exactly where we were going to be and who was going to be on the other side of town, and how if it hits the fan, we knew exactly what to do and how to do it. So I think we're trending in the right direction, and to what y'all were talking about, Sabir, you and Ty, like the Mississippi that we know becoming this battleground state where you've got this stronghold of progressive voters in central Mississippi, a growing block of progressive voters in the Pine Belt and in South Mississippi. But anywhere where there is a college, you've got folks that are making decisions, and they making selfish decisions. And I have no problem with being selfish with my vote,
right?
Because I want my vote to be my freedom, and I'm not gonna make or cast my vote and do it in a way where it is going to hurt my neighbor. So when you make decisions collectively, or when you make a decision informed by your own research, yet you you also incorporate into that formula how it's going to affect your community, you're making a great decision.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what we need our
And
politicians and elected officials to do.
that's and the most important thing to keep in mind, and listen, I'm freezing. Oh, I know I'm freezing. The most important thing that's about the whole thing is just we want people to, we live in a representative democracy. You find what works for you. You go ahead and I remember one time, I'll never forget, bros. Would you believe I went to, this was Jones County. This was before COVID. This is after COVID. This is 2020. I was in George County. I picked up a young lady from Eatonville, and she couldn't get around. This was during roll to the polls. Picked her up, Caucasian lady. She was, and she's like, I'm Republican, this, that, and third. She's like, I bet, she just looked at me and she made, as her driver, and she just swore up and down. Well, she just had my demographics, my socio-political demographics in check. And so, she was a little hesitant and everything else, but she knew she wasn't going to get a ride. She contacted us for roll to the polls. She contacted us and she was like, well, maybe she just was really quiet and everything else. But we just started talking just openly. I'm from the Pine Belt. So as we start tossing out cities and everything else, like I start knowing, unless you from the area, you have no idea where Moselle is. You have no idea where Eatonville is. You wouldn't know these things. But when I start tossing out names and roads, she's like, oh, okay, he's okay. And so we're talking and chatting. We get her there. I help her out the van. She's, she can't get around the best, but I actually literally roll her inside the poll. She's got a wheelchair, get her going and everything. She voted. She came back out. As we got closer to the house, you know what she said? She was like, I have to be honest. Here I am, a middle-aged white woman. And this entire time, you and your organization, because we had the magnets on the side of the car. We gonna come pick you up. Everything else, Mississippi Move. She was like, I was in doubt whether or not how this was going to work. She was a little skeptical, and even to some of her own predispositions and everything else for different demographics, she felt even a little fearful. As we got closer to the home, she was like, this was the best decision I ever made. And she's actually called us before, sent folks our way and everything else, and been someone that has vouched for us ever since.
Yeah.
And so when you do what is right, doing what is right knows no demographics, knows no skin color, knows no religion or creed, knows no background or whatever, but you have a right to be able to dig in. And so no matter where you are in terms of your personal feelings, it's great to be able to go ahead and watch someone that might not have been the fiercest of ally. They suddenly are. And it's based on that's their testimony. That's their testimony.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. And it goes to the work of just stepping in and doing what needs to be done.
Yep.
Mac, you've been awful quiet over there, man. What you over there think about? That Shayla Portier got you
no,
nice
man.
and relaxed?
I'm just listening. I personally purposely was quiet while Ty was on because I don't want to say nothing while he's on. And he's running for office. I'm not. So I want to make sure, right? But I just listen. I just get tired of us as Black folks, especially playing the role to the degree of we can't give the same energy that's given to us, right? And meaning that, well, I give an example for Ty. If Ty was in a whole other state, he would be governor. Somebody would have made him governor because of what he brings to the table, right? All the experience he has, all the accolades, all of those things, right? But you might get somebody that you might get a white boy that writing crayon, and you would get out there, and someone would tell you how he's a better candidate than this Black guy just because he's the Black guy, not because nothing to do with his experience. They love this country, they are patriot. Then you get someone that's got 21 years in the military, and then you pick the guy that writing crayon to be the person that represents you. right?
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the shit that bothers me, because we had this happen with a lady that ran for governor here. She was like third, fourth generation military. She was in the military, numerous accolades, same thing. And the group, I ain't gonna say, well, fuck it. The Democratic Party got behind the white woman because she was the white woman, because they thought that she was gonna win. But this is a decorated doctor who was in the military veteran, and they didn't support her.
Nope.
Right? And then
are you talking about Jennifer?
No,
Jennifer Riley Collins?
Oh, you talking about
AG? No,
she ran for AG. Who are you talking about that ran for governor?
She's with Women for Progress. She ran for governor. Yeah. So the thing about it is, when they talk about, as they say back in the day with Brother Hollison, we say engaging in truth telling. Like, I think the lady that ran was Vicky Slater.
Yes,
they endorsed and supported her.
Wait a minute,
right?
Was Vicky? Well, okay. I'm sorry. I'm about to bring up another example, but continue. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right about Vicky Slater.
But this is a decorated black person
Correct.
that people are be on the fence about if they have what it takes. Now, understand the political system was set up where, as long as Mr. John owned land, he qualified to run for public office. It's not about education. It's not about experience. It's not about business degrees. It's not about any of that stuff, right? But then we still have this conversation when you have a black person that's overqualified for the position. You ask, well, are they qualified? Do they have any experience? And then you get someone that has no experience, none, and put them in the position. So that's what I mean by for us as black people, that we always, and one of the things that what Spirit was saying about the lady was, one of the fears is that we are always going to give the energy that they give us, and to the surprise that they don't get that energy. And I'm speaking for those who are ones that that still believe that our people have a place, that we should be somewhere. We shouldn't be in this. We shouldn't have the same whatever. We should have a place, right? And them the folks we're talking about right now. So I think the work that we do is very, very important. What happens to Spirit?
I don't know.
Well, I think
I was on.
Oh, so that's where that noise was coming from. Okay. So
I don't know.
I think that,
but the lady's name was Valerie Short.
Yeah.
Valerie Short ran for governor, and if I ain't mistaken, didn't we have some interactions with her at Tougaloo? And
she set up at events with us before, because she was a medical doctor who also had a doctorate in public health.
Yeah.
So she's done a lot. She did a lot of events. The point that what you were saying is, for her, is that we have folks that are overly qualified, and then people still speculate if they are qualified. So other areas, they pick the best person for the job because they want to see the best turnout for for them.
Right.
Now, and we still dealing with that to this day, that people still speculate. You still got to overly prove that you are qualified, and you are more qualified than the average person that walk in. And that's something that we constantly deal with. But the fear factor is that the numbers are going to change. When the numbers change, that the rabbit's going to have the gun, and when the rabbit has the gun, that you got to deal with the same things that you've been putting folks through for hundreds of years. I don't know who that is. I can't read that.
Okay. Matt, I wanted to bring in an example. I Miss Celine Stone, I am not that well versed in it.
What's our friend name that's out on the coast with you that was on the that used to come on the show with us? We need to keep him on.
Jorge?
Can we go? Jorge, we need you.
Jorge, where is Jorge when you need him? Lo Siento, Celine. Matt, I wanted to tell you a story. So I DJ'd in Alabama over the weekend. It's something that I do regularly. I'm pretty sure that you know this. While I was setting up to DJ, I overheard some guys having a political discussion, and I don't know what. Later on, I got to know one of the guys that was having the discussion. The gentleman who was probably doing the talking and made the comment that I'm about to mention now. I'm not sure of his background, but I'm gonna tell you what he said. It was in reference to Vice President Kamala Harris, who's running for president, and I think he was quoting Joe Rogan podcast, and he laughed about it. I mean, he found it hilarious, and he said that I think Joe Rogan said, and this gentleman that I'm in the same area with while I was preparing, setting up the DJ, he said she dumber than a fence post.
God.
And I said, Now I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, even if she is dumb, she can't be that dumb because she went through law school. She served as an elected official in a number of different capacities. You had to pass the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, man, now look, that's me. And I went through that analysis, right? Then I said, man, I wish that I was disrespectful enough to say, your mama dumber than a fence post. That's what I wish I was disrespectful enough to say. But I said, you know what, man? I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna sit here, and I'm not gonna ruffle any feathers. And I let it go. Now, later on that evening, I felt that God was speaking to me, and it had nothing to do with that. But it had everything to do with having enough presence of mind so that I could be in place for the message that I received later on.
Okay.
The person that I ended up DJing for was retiring from Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Had a nice wife, had a nice mama, had all his childhood friends and everything around him. And I'm the only person Negro descent in the place.
the only fly in the buttermilk.
That part. The only chocolate milk in the case. And but what I took from the moment, or what I heard in the moment, was you have to prepare for this because you'll experience this with your sons. I was like, my Lord, like this dude had a 13-year career in the major leagues, and he ain't hurting for nothing.
No.
Like, I looked up one of his last contracts, and he seemed to be, and like when I interacted with him, he was cool. He was, chill. Like he didn't, at the very least, he didn't say anything from the place that hosted the event and the people who were setting up with me. This MLB All-Star didn't talk like that. Right. So all I'm saying is, I think, to your point, Matt, sometimes you ain't even got to prove nothing when you move in the right way, and God lines things up for you. But even if somebody sabotages you and something doesn't go the way that it should have,
Yeah.
you just gotta sit still. And I promise that the lesson that you need for that next step is gonna be right there.
Yeah.
And it'll be loud and clear.
Facts.
That's what I did over the weekend, dog.
And speaking about Joe Rogan,
I guess
talking about Joe Rogan, don't listen to Joe Rogan. that dude be high half the time, and the other half the time his brain been rattling around. Because dude can fight. Some people don't know about Joe Rogan. Don't fight Joe Rogan. He will take you down through there.
No,
but outside of Joe Rogan's nuts, he's high, and I ain't listen to Joe Rogan.
Yeah. What you about to say, Matt?
I was the talking heads. Like I wasn't even going to say his name. I was going to treat him like Moses. I wasn't going to even speak his name and give them that energy. It's that we have to evaluate the situation, right? And again, one of the best movies out there, the spook that's set beside the door. You got to be sitting out there, and you got to be paying attention, because your response to what he would have said would have probably blocked the potential relationship that you might get with this gentleman that will help continue to help your sons develop, right? Or move them to that next level. But every now and then they let the cousin out the basement, right? They let the incest baby come to the picnic. So you gotta look over them, right? That you got to look over them and move forward, and continue to, see the example. That's why you got to teach and understand, like what we just said. And just somebody that's formally educated, that's definitely was properly trained for every job that they had, and then you call them dumb because of what? In comparison to who? And
right,
to them, they are dumb. Because they don't, why they are dumb? Because they don't understand nothing they talk about. And they can't understand nothing they talk about. So to them, that's like the communication, they're dumb. But, I think that work that we continue to do to continue to put stuff in front of people, continue to get folks to think, continue to have raw truth, and continue to get folks to ask questions of themselves and the people that want to represent them, to get folks to see things for what it really is, and form their own opinion and their own agenda, but also have the spirit to say, as we used to say all the time on the Revive Mississippi show, doing nothing is never an answer. Stop waiting on them. Stop listening to what they said, right? Yeah. Stop looking for somebody. So shut the fuck up and go to work.
Facts. Hit that doggone button.
And there it is. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen,
good show.
That's Nightcap Knowledge.
Yeah,
unbought and unbought.
Yep. We've had a great time. Shout out to all the bombs that have been dropped. Yes, indeed. What you got there, man? Oh, you rocking the Tulu College Sigmas. Yes, indeed.
And there it is, man.
I think we
can hit the outro.
Mm-hmm. You said what?
I think we can hit the outro.
Hit that button, baby. Well, that's what we got to get to, baby.
Wait.
We will see you guys next week. Election day. We will see y'all election day. Oh, that boy got the money gun. Look at this. Oh man, we'll see y'all next week. Shout out to Spirit with the money gun, money man.
Why?
Let's go.
Why?
Oh man, we'll see y'all. Peace out.